Ross Tucker, friend of the show, works for Westwood One as one of their football analysts. Former NFL lineman, the Ross Tucker podcast, works for Sirius XM. And Ross, we'll get to the controversial Taylor Swift topic in a moment. But if Kansas City and San Diego played 10 times, how many wins do you have for Kansas City?
I love that you're still calling them San Diego, by the way, Dan.
Yeah.
Just about everybody's still doing that. It's hilarious. I don't know, man. Based on last night, I'm thinking maybe 5-5. I'm shocked that they won that game last night. Dan, I mean, Kansas City is the loudest outdoor stadium I ever played in. That is a very, very difficult place to win, especially in a night game. I remember playing there one time, Dan. It was so loud. I was backing up all three spots. I wanted no part of going in that game, none whatsoever. And for LA to do that without their top two running backs and to not have Keenan Allen in the second half, it's unbelievably impressive. It's kind of a shame that the Chargers lost to Fritzy's Broncos a few weeks ago, and they still don't have the number one seed or the AFC West right now. As a result, the Chiefs still control their own destiny, but it was a really, really impressive win, and I'm thrilled for guys like Phillip Rivers, Antonio Gates, even Anthony Lynn. I mean, started out 0-4, was looking rough, and now he's 20-6 in his last 26 games.
Who's your favorite in the AFC right now?
I'm still going to go with the Chiefs because I think it helps when they get Eric Berry back. I like what I saw from their young running backs last night, and you have to go through Kansas City as of right now. Now, that Seattle game next Sunday becomes gigantic, obviously, because they need to try to get home field advantage. It's unbelievable to me, Dan, with the Chargers and the Chiefs, the difference between winning that division or not. I mean, you're talking about the number one seed and 2 home games, you're going to the Super Bowl, or 3 away games. And the thing that's crazy about the NFL, Dan, we might have talked about it earlier in the year, but if you would ask me certainly 4 or 5 weeks ago, I would have said, Dan, there's only 4 teams that can realistically go to the Super Bowl. In the NFC, it's the Saints and the Rams. In the AFC, it's the Chiefs and the Patriots. And now I don't feel that way anymore. Now I can see a 3, 4, 5, or 6 seed making a run in either conference. I think it's a lot more wide open than we thought.
The MVP right now is?
Still going Mahomes, but it's close. He didn't play bad last night, but he didn't take it, and run away with it last night. I was saying Breeze earlier, but Mahomes had a couple of ridiculous games, and Breeze had been a little quiet the last few weeks, and now Rivers is throwing his hat in the ring. I think kind of like the Heisman, how Kyler Murray finished so strong, and Tua did not, and that ended up getting Kyler the Heisman. I think that's how the MVP is going to be. I think these last 3 weeks are going to determine the MVP, and that those 3 guys are kind of neck and neck. I think it's probably Mahomes by a nose still right now, but I think that can change based on what happens these next couple weeks.
Yeah, I think the quarterback who wins his division in the AFC West is going to be your MVP. I don't think Breeze has put up good enough numbers. He had the rough outing against the Cowboys on national TV. They're a little bit more of a run-first team now. I still, the Chargers with Breeze and Mahomes, if he throws for 55 touchdown passes, I think it comes down to who wins that division.
You might be right. I know Breeze plays Monday night against Carolina, so he has a chance to put up big numbers. But, if we've learned anything, Dan, it's how you finish really, really matters. Even like, these coaches that might get fired or not. These last 3 games, it means a lot. I've been on teams where we finished strong and the coach saved his job. I've been on teams where we lost the last 3 and the guy got fired. How you finish, even if you think it's a lost season, matters. And Drew Brees is not finishing as strong as he needs to right now to win the MVP like I thought he was going to.
You all in on the Cowboys as one of the 2 or 3 best teams in the NFC? If I put the Saints and the Rams or the Rams and the Saints, where do the Cowboys fit in there?
I'd still probably put them 4 or 5. Right now I'd go Saints 1, Rams 2, Bears 3. And then Cowboys in Seattle are actually pretty close in my mind. I think because of what they got going with Amari Cooper, I think I'd go Dallas 4, Seattle 5. But that's going to be an epic wild card game. I mean, that's going to be the Sunday night, NBC game or whatever. That game between the Cowboys and the Seahawks should be amazing. Should be, in my mind, clearly the best game of wild card weekend. It's looking like that's how it's going to unfold.
He's Ross Tucker. He works for Westwood One. He is going to be working Texans and the Jets coming up this weekend for Westwood One. But you had a tweet yesterday, a music statement yesterday that, frankly, I thought maybe Paulie was fooling me and pulling my leg, that you sent out a tweet and you backed it up and you firmly believe in it. So let the audience know what your tweet was.
Well, just to give some background, Dan, okay, yesterday was Taylor Swift's birthday. She does, by the way, happen to be from my hometown of Wyomissing, Pennsylvania, so I might be a little bit biased there. So on my radio show, we were playing all Taylor Swift music. And one of my listeners knows that I happen to think that Prince's music was overrated. So he tweeted me and said, you like this stuff, but you don't like Prince. And I said, don't compare Taylor Swift to Prince. I think Taylor Swift has 10 songs that are better than any of Prince's songs. And Dan, it did not go over real well. I got eviscerated on social media. And people are telling me, well, Prince plays 26 instruments. Prince had his own genre. He changed the culture. Look, Dan, I don't care how many instruments he plays. I'm not comparing the two as musicians. I know he wrote Nothing Compares to You for Sinead O'Connor. I'm talking about their songs. And all I care about, not genres or culture or how sophisticated you sound, all I care about is how the music sounds when it goes through my ears into my brain. And I'm telling you, there's at least 5 Taylor Swift songs that I'd rather listen to than any Prince song. I mean, what's his best song, Dan? Purple Rain? Is that like, that's a great song. Purple Rain, Purple Rain. Like, that's not good. Where is that good? When is that song good? I mean, Raspberry Beret, that's okay. I actually like Little Red Corvette, but I'd still take 5 Taylor Swift songs over them. I'm standing by. I like her music more.
Did anybody threaten you? Did the reaction get that bad?
I got a lot of threats. Yeah, I got a lot of people. A lot of people actually reported me to Twitter as spam. and that's suspicious. Evidently, I got a lot of people threatening me with violence, and my favorite is all the people, Dan, telling me to turn in my man card. That's the joke of it to me. Is that I think a lot of people say they like Prince because they think it makes them sound sophisticated or, more artsy, more cultured. And they don't want to admit that they like Taylor Swift because it's teeny bopper in their mind, teeny bopper, high school girls or whatever. But I think deep down in places that some people don't want to admit, I think that they love Taylor Swift's music, and I think that when they get in the car and they're driving, they'd rather have one of her awesome songs come on than Purple Rain, Purple Rain. And people threatening violence to me is hilarious because you know what I'll do, Dan? I'll come to their house and I'll put Taylor Swift on my boombox and I'll punch them in the face and I'll beat them up while Taylor Swift music is playing in the background. How about that for my man card?
What would be the song?
Oh, man, there's so many good ones. Bad Blood. I mean, if I'm going to get in a fight with somebody, Bad Blood.
Well, good luck going outside today, Ross.
Thank you, Dan. I appreciate it.
That's Ross Tucker. Safe travels. Texans, Jets coming up Saturday, Westwood One. He's Ross Tucker, the Ross Tucker Podcast.
For more Dan Patrick Show, tune to Audience Channel 239 on DirecTV or download the Dan Patrick Show app.